Welcome to Real Talk. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. Taz, and my co-host is Angelia T. Smith. Real Talk is presented by DQ Consulting LLC, empowering individuals and businesses to grow with clarity and confidence. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Talk Accountability Series. Now, last week we talked about identifying the cracks. Today we're taking it a step further, and we're talking about avoidance. Now, not the things we don't know or those things we don't understand, but the things we know we need our attention. However, we continue to put them off. So if we're honest with ourselves, we aren't stuck because we lack awareness. Oh, I feel like that was something I shouldn't have said. But we're not stuck because we lack awareness. Most of us, myself included, we're stuck because we refuse to act on what we already know.
Really? Is that what the problem is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's definitely good to know because if we're if we are all honest with ourselves, we've done it. Yeah, we've all been there. We've ignored them warning signs. Oh, baby, I was ignoring them today. Stayed in situations too long. Been there, done that. Putting out difficult conversations. Definitely been there, done that. Delayed decisions we knew needed to be made. Ooh. And while we were avoiding it, we're hoping somehow things are just going to magically get better. But they never do.
Well, that was a whole lot on Jay, and it's the reality that we are hoping that it's going to get better. But let's just start with a question. Thank you to Lady Eli 23, Ellie 23 for joining us, and Noble 1573 for joining us over on IG. So let's just start with the question, and you guys drop your response in the comment section. The question is this: what's easier for people to avoid? Relationship, and that could be personal relationship with your significant other. It could be family relationships with your parents or your siblings and BFFs and all other types of relationships. Is it that it's easier for us to avoid our finances? Now, sometimes we'd be robbing Peter to pay Paul, but again, we sometimes, we're going to avoid that. What about our health? I know nobody said raise your hand, but I'm raising my hand. For those who wonder what that pause were, who are listening to this in the listening world, I raised my hand. Also, boundaries. Oh! Miss Angelia raised both of her hands, and she's doing she
with the spirit fingers with it.
Yeah, with the spirit things, but yeah, because people that Nova said people that not nice. Now you done spoke a mouthful there. Hello, Morales. Morales, I'm trying to say the word and it won't come out. Morales Linda 4. Thank you for joining us over on IG too. But yeah, the boundaries and then that personal growth. We know we need to make a change. Because if you think about it, all of this is about personal growth, whether it's relationships of some type, it's our finances, our health, our boundaries. And like Nova said, people that not nice, because they're not nice, and we the brunt of them not being nice. That means we be feeling some kind of way. And that's all about our personal growth. So again, I don't know anybody, and if they immune to this, that is good. Maybe they'll come on and we can learn from them. But I don't know anyone who's immune from avoiding something, because we all do it. And then when we go too far, it's like, then we got a crack. So one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves, I'm talking about me too, if we don't deal with it today, it won't affect me tomorrow. But avoidance doesn't eliminate problems. It doesn't go away. It don't postpone them. If people are not nice to you, they treat you how they want to treat you. I was doing some work recently, and say he or she, they nice to you when they want something, and once they got it, and then everything you think everything is great, and they're your knight in shining armor, then they flip it on you again. Well, like you see the pattern. But why am I avoiding that? I don't know, but I see the pattern. It doesn't go away. So, if you think that avoidance is going to eliminate it, it doesn't. It just postpones it and it comes back stronger and stronger. So let's just think about it. If you ignore your health, your body keeps telling you, oh, I'm sorry, y'all know I love R. Kelly. I'll probably try to edit this out for the podcast. My mind's telling me, yeah, that is R, right?
That is fine.
I'm fixing to butcher the lyrics, but my mind is telling me yes, but my body's have I reversed it? But my body's telling me I know I done butchered it.
Yeah.
It's the other way around, but y'all get my point. If your body is talking to you and saying stop, why are you letting your mind supersede your body? Because your body tell you, I can't go no more. And if you're a diabetic, you really get what I'm talking about. Because diabetics have to be so careful. They have to be careful with wounds and things of that nature. So if you see you got a wound and you see your body keep telling you it's not healing, why won't you go to the doctor? Why would you put it off? Because you know that as a person with diabetes, when wounds go unhealed, it could cause many different things. And if we go to the very, very far left, it may cause amputations and things of that nature. So why would we not act on it? Because we got the information and we're self-aware. Thank you so much. Hi, Tessa Marie. So good to see you. Is it Canada? She's out of the country. So good to see you, Tessa Marie. But we know that we need to do something. That's crack. We're ignoring something when we know there are consequences to it. So again, all I can say, you keep ignoring it, it don't go away. From relationships, now I got to go there just a little bit since I brought up Aura. Now, when you start ignoring the relationship issues that, hi, Paul McLean, for joining us. When you start ignoring those relationship claims, those things that be making you feel some kind of way, now resentment can step in. Now, you may call it something else, but you be feeling some kind of way. Feeling some kind of way can step in. So avoidance only creates more interest in a funny sort of way. And eventually, you don't pay more than you really want to, because I'm using interest like, we're earning interest like with money. And eventually, you don't pay more than you want to pay. And this is I'm not going to say that inside joke. And sometimes you just can't pay no more. You done paid all you can pay, and your body and your mind be telling you enough is enough.
But it's hard.
No.
It's hard. And I think that's what people, really are missing, right? They're focused on avoiding the discomfort of today, but the only thing you're doing is just creating a bigger discomfort for tomorrow. You gonna let me say it? So I was talking to Mama today, because I told her, I said, I need some vitamin D. I said, I've been sitting in front of the screen all day, working hard. Let me get up, go outside, get in the car, and just clear my head, because it was one of those days. And I told her, I said, the funny thing is, Mama, we was talking about different things, And I said, the funny thing is, I said, what is that saying that they say? Like, an emergency on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part. And she said, well, and Jackie, you know how people are. I said, I do. And the reason why I know how they are is because I've seen this before. It's like you stuck in a Groundhog Day. You're expecting, again, like that definition of insanity. You're expecting a different outcome. No. The outcome is going to be the same because you've chosen to ignore the problem, the red flags, the signs, the thing that was knocking you up inside your head, slapping in your face, but you're like, it's going to be all right. I'm okay. It's going to get better, right? Because that's what we tell ourselves is, if I can make it through today, tomorrow is going to be even better. Only when we already know that if today was Trash. If the day was trash, I can only imagine the dumpster fire that awaits. So that's why we have to stop avoiding these deep, harsh conversations, the personal growth, these relationships. We have to talk about it. We have to sometimes say, let me hold your hand while I share this news with you. Because I do understand that what I'm about to say is probably gonna hurt your feelings, but I want you to understand that I'm coming from a good place.
Well, obviously today was a dumpster fire, and I haven't gotten the 411, so I don't know what's been going on. But she had to talk to Mama. Woo, it was bad. But you're right, Angelia. Another one of the lessons in cracks in the empire is the collapse didn't begin when people saw the cracks. We understand whether we're talking about our work situation, because you're talking about work right now, I believe. I hope I didn't speak out of term. Well, you said it was a dumpster. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, it could be our children. The collapse didn't just, the cracks didn't just suddenly appear. They've been there the whole time. And so when we finally collapse, and let me tell y'all what a collapse is. I'm trying to think, what did we used to call it? I don't know what we used to call it. This is what I'm gonna call it now. Hi, I pat your boot. I'm sorry, I mispronounced. Thank you for joining us over on IG. Let me tell you what a collapse is for y'all that don't know. I don't have my pearls on, but cut your pearls. A collapse is when you done took all you can take, and the next thing you know, you just going out on whoever comes in sight. It don't matter whether they the one that's done sick that did it, but they the one that happened to be there, so they gonna be the one that's gonna get it. That's a collapse because you have ignored the symptoms. It'd be symptoms, the signs, the cracks, however you want to phrase it. We done ignored it. And so now, because we ignored it and didn't get any super glue to try to, glue us back together, you got to try to piece this stuff together. We didn't do that. So now I'm exploding, and whoever happened to be there, they gonna get it. And sometimes when that happens, you go off on the wrong person. Y'all know what I mean when I say go off, right? Or y'all let me know over there on IG. You know what I'm talking about when you go off on the wrong person. Don't mean no harm, but they was in the wrong place at the wrong time because you had taken all you could take as Popeyes. I taken all. I got the wrong voice. I'm taking all I could take. I can't stand no more. And he just, he's Popeye then. We take all we can take, and then we find ourselves at a space that we don't know what to do when we had that little split second, have a little bit of sanity. Well, I shouldn't say sanity. Have a little bit of
clarity.
Clarity, thank you, because je ne sais pas. Got a little bit of clarity before you go to left. And then once you done gone to the left, for some of us, it takes a lot to bring us back. Now, I'm not speaking about me and nobody in particular. But I know some people when they go to the left, it's a lot to bring them back. And going to the left is not just exploding. Because some people, they don't explode. They don't explode at all. They don't explode at all. I have always said, as related to my personal relationship, I don't argue with men. And I don't. But that doesn't mean I'm passive. Because when I've had enough, I've had enough. Because you see, I don't have to explode. No, I don't have to act outside my nature. Because I think I said somewhere else recently about the Marvel's University and the Hulk. He says now the secret, because they want to know, how do you control it? And he said the secret is, how do you control the anger? And he says basically the secret is he's always angry. So I don't have to act the way other people act for you to know that I've had enough. I think again, Ara said when a woman's fed up, no matter how you handle it, that's it. You can't do anything more. So again, when you think about this, just on a protection side now, you never know how someone is going to react when they are cracking, meaning their empire, we the empire, baby. We the empire. When your body, when your mind and your spirit is on overload and you can't take no more. Now y'all know what it's like in jobs when you just can't take no more. I'm not the only one that's experienced it. I've worked quite a few jobs and probably all of them I felt that way at some point in time. What about you, Angelia?
Woo, yes, darling. I certainly feel that way. Yeah, I certainly do. You know, sometimes the warning signs they're not loud. You know, they're not loud. I know y'all like that girl always got a prop. I do. I got a prop. I've been looking. So you're not expecting like when it happens, right? Like when you're falling apart, you're not expecting like this big boom. Again, when y'all catch this on the replay, y'all gonna be like, what the world? You're not expecting all that, right? You're just expecting like, oh, I didn't know I was bothering you. Well, see, what was happening is it was festering. It was a buildup. See, it was, I guess you could almost say like it was a little cancer. It was just growing. See, it started off like this. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day it just exploded. And now you trying to figure out like, well, what's the problem? Honey, the problem is sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I'm exhausted. Sometimes I am overwhelmed, overworked, frustrated, disappointed, and I'm trying to figure out why I am stuck on this hamster wheel with you when I know better. See, because they say when you know better, you do better. So why am I stuck on the hamster wheel with you in this state of insanity when I don't have to be insane with you? Because that's a choice. I have chosen to stay stuck on stupid when I don't have to be stuck on stupid. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to. And the thing is that these lessons, they keep showing up and they're going to be a different package every time. Today, it may be a pink gift wrapped up with a red bow. Tomorrow, it may be this purple mouse. The next week, it may be this blue mouse. The next week, it may be some baby oil. Ooh, don't did me now. No Diddy. Okay, no P Diddy me. I'm just saying, it just shows up. But it's the same lesson that we're not learning because we keep avoiding it. And then when you start crackling and crumbling, you snap, crackling, popping, and you trying to figure out like, well, where did I go wrong? You went wrong because you chose to ignore those signs. You went wrong because when somebody said something slick, you let it slide because you said, it don't really bother me. It's okay. It's not that serious. But then as they keep saying things and doing things, time after time, it builds up. It's like a volcano and then it just erupts. And like you said, whoever is on that receiving end is sometimes not the person that is meant for, but unfortunately, that's how the story goes.
Well, it is how the story goes. And I wanted to say right here that Irene Baxberg shares her journey from years of pain to finding real life, to finding real relief, and how and now inspires thousands daily. Irene is sponsoring this segment. Follow Irene Baxberg on Instagram. Find her at Got Health _VAKSBERG. I want to say, prior to coming on, I was listening to Stevie Wonder. I was listening to a lot of stuff, but Stevie started the mix. And the song that I was listening to was Like a Fool. I mean, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. But the lyrics is, like a fool, I went and stayed too long. I want y'all to think about that. Hello, Erica. Bobs, thank you for joining us over on IG. Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. Well, when we avoid stuff, really we done stayed too long. Because sometimes, I'll be walking around the house. I walk around the house saying eat. I be walking around the house saying drink. I be walking around the house singing that song too, thinking you stayed too long. And what I mean by stay too long is that was a problem for you.
Yep.
Whether it's maybe you said, I'm waiting for the right time. I'm waiting for the right time to leave. I'm waiting on the right time, to get it together. I'm not ready yet. Things aren't that bad. I'll deal with it later. But here's the question that we have to consider. Are those reasons or are they excuses? Like I said, Stevie said it so well, like a fool, I went and I stayed too long. And for me, that means we stayed too long in whatever situation that's not serving us well. And the signs are there. We see the cracks, but we stay anyway. And then we think that people have done us wrong when we have done ourselves wrong. But that's another story. Maybe I'm the only one that be done herself wrong sometimes. I know I be done myself wrong sometimes. That's the reason I be saying like a fool. You wouldn't stay too long. And it doesn't mean I physically went somewhere. I allowed something to continue that I knew was not serving me. And it's breaking me down. I know I ain't the only one. It goes back to when Noble was talking about people that are not nice. When people are mistreating you and you continue to sign off on it, then you think about it. When some people mistreat you, well, really when anybody mistreats you, over time, your self-esteem and your view of who you are is diminished. Well, you're being diminished. I'm like, you're not looking for a prop. While you being diminished, they being increased. So as you going down, they going up. And it's like,
this is you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
This is you.
Oh yeah.
And this is them.
Ain't that the truth? I could have been there. Thank you. This is you. That's it. That one get you. Oh, this is you, and that is them. Because you're not even. There's no balance there, and so, but you stay for whatever reason. Because I'm not ready yet. I don't know if I can make it on my own. I don't know what my life would be like if that person wasn't there. I'm afraid to apply for another job, even within the same company, because this is all I've ever done. But you got the skill set. And then you'll be wondering if it's a job thing, why you be feeling some kind of way when the people are, kind of not giving you or treating you the way you want. Thank you. We've got Farah X Gatio. I'm probably mispronounced it. Thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. But yeah, we wonder why, because we don't want to act on what we know.
No, and that's why, sometimes I think, we call it confusion when we've already made a decision. Because as you already stated, when you don't address it the first time, and I can understand, the first time something happens, you may not want to speak on it because, you're like, is it me? Am I being in my feelings? Because, depending on what headspace I was in, right, I could have easily been offended. But then when you see that this pattern keeps occurring, now you done made a decision that, okay, I have chosen to ignore it. I have chosen to allow you to treat me like the gum on the bottom of your shoe. So can I really get mad? No. You know why? Because we decided not to act. It happens all the time. You're in a relationship, they talk to you, watch your mouth. And you're just like, oh, baby having a bad day today. Baby not feeling good. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. 2 months go by. The same thing. Watch your mouth. Why you always going out? Okay, now see, I let you slide that first time, but now the second time, the third time, the fourth time, this remind me of Mama. Mama used to say, She be like, Angelia, she said, don't ever let a man pat you on the face. Cause you know how we like, oh, oh, I love you. And yeah. She's like, don't ever let a man pat you on the face. Because eventually them soft little pats and taps, really, he just testing the water to see when he can just slap you in your face. So that's what we allow people to do. Because again, we decided not to act on it. We just don't want to admit it. And so now when this oh so love me just rub me, then slightly tap me, and then slap me, well, I walked into that because I've allowed you to treat me as such.
Now, Angelia, you done go, you and Miss Gloria. Now, I need some audience participation here. Now, guys, now help me. Now, I know I'm not the only one. We want to do some fill in the blank. Put it in the comments for me, either on YouTube or over on IG. I've been telling myself what?
Yeah.
Because like you said, Angelia, we're not confused. Now, we like to play the confusion game, but we're really not confused. And it's like, okay, so I've been telling myself what? Maybe I'll start on Monday. I'm going to start dieting on Monday. I'm going to start next month. I'm gonna start at the beginning. I'm gonna start New Year because here it is. This is June, guys. So I'm gonna start in January. Go ahead and get through these holidays because we got the 4th coming up. Then it's gonna be Labor Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. This is not the right time to start dieting. I'll start at the beginning of the year. Okay, things will be better then. They'll change. I'm fine. Whatever. Yeah, because again, it's always going to be different. But when you start talking about transformation and beginning, it actually starts when we're honest with ourselves. Yep. Now, if you be getting up in the middle of the night, eating a bologna sandwich every night and drink a Pepsi and eat half a bag of potato chips, now you ain't gonna lose no weight. And you do that because I don't really eat during the day, But every night you get up and eat a bologna sandwich like clockwork and a bag of potato chips and drink a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola. Now you know what the problem is. You're not doing what you need to do. Okay. So, let's talk about costs. Is avoidance free? No, it's not. Avoidance costs us our peace. Ooh, we know that peace. Peace that passes all understanding. Peace, it costs us our time. Because if it's the wrong relationship, that means you investing all that time in that good boy. And what you said, been going on about 2 months now? Yeah. 2 years. Promises is all I heard. I'm about tired of that. I just can't with you, Angelia, sometimes. Relationships, like I said, it costs us our relationships. Maybe not a romantic relationship. Maybe it's a different type of relationship. Maybe it costs us our relationship with ourselves because I'm constantly putting me on the back burner so that I'm making everybody else's life wonderful. Because remember, I'm getting smaller and smaller. They're getting bigger and bigger. So again, is it that it's costing me my relationship with me, my self-worth, my confidence, my professional growth, my personal growth? The longer we delay, the more expensive, think about it like money, the more expensive the decision becomes. Now, let me take it to medicine so you can see it a different way. If like I said with the diabetes, if you know that you're diabetic and you've had this sore since March, somewhere on your body, and it's not getting any better, well, when you go to the doctor, most likely it's going to cost you more money this time for them to fix it, for them to correct it, for them to give you the medication. You may have to go into the hospital. They may have to do some debriding, where they may have to take some of the skin off because you waited so long. So now they're trying to make sure that area, it may have to turn into an ulcer now. That sore, it gets healed. It starts healing quickly. So it's going to cost you more now because you waited so long. Your car is burning oil, but you're going to keep putting oil in every day, a whole quart. Now, by the time you get to the dealer, I know you said, Dr. Smith, I didn't have no money. I understand that. But by the time you get to the dealer, it's going to cost you more because you did not address the issue when you first realized that you had this issue. Okay. And we're carrying that same weight around, guys. We carrying that every day. And those are the consequences that we deal with when we don't address our cracks. That's what we deal with. That's the consequences. And eventually there's a collapse. Your car don't run no more. And I know I said like that, it don't run no more. Cause you see, you might be done blow that engine. Now you in the hospital, or you're doing 24 hours procedure with 24-hour in. They don't want to say inpatient. So you're doing an outpatient procedure. They keep you there for less 23 hours. But if you had gone to the doctor back in February, March, it maybe wouldn't have gotten that bad.
Yeah, again, sometimes the biggest cause is regret, right? And then looking back and realizing that I knew it, I saw it, I just didn't do anything about it. Like I said, the writing's on the wall. We just be sitting back seeing what color the wall gonna be, and we already know what color the wall gonna be. That's why we stuck in the pattern, because we done seen this movie before. Let me tell you, if you look at Lifetime, think about Vivica Fox. Everything is the wrong this, the wrong that. It's the same pattern, different storyline, but it's the same pattern. The flags, the red flags were just waving. But he's so nice. And he also turned out to be a stalker. Oh, he's a good Savannah. He's a good man, Savannah.
I don't know.
He's a good man. But then this man got a whole family over here that you didn't even know anything about. Like
initially.
But initially, though, he was wooing you, wowing you, but he was taking the money from his family to wine and dine you. And then when he don't have time for you, you do a little deep diving, you become a little PI, and then you discover that you've been played. Not only have you been played, but the other party been played too. And it's okay, because it happens to the best of us. But that's why you have to pick up on the warning sign, because they're not just going to come knock on the door and say, here I am. They're not going to pull up outside and honk the horn and be like, I'm here. It would be really nice if it did. But no, it doesn't do that. Like when you are in a situation that you're like, yeah, I've seen this before, I already know how this story turns out, then that's when you know it's time to perhaps turn the page and end that chapter. And let's start a new book. Let's not even create another chapter in that book. Not even in that series. Let's just start a whole new book about something else. Because unfortunately, yes, we do regret things, because there are things that we can't get back, like your time. Time is very precious. You can't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. However, once you recognize the pattern, you then know, okay, look, let me just go ahead and be upfront with you. I've seen this before. So let's just go ahead and cut to the chase. And they're going to be looking at you like, what? Yeah, let's go ahead and cut to the chase. Okay? You don't want to get married. You don't want kids. You really don't want a relationship. You just want a da-dum-da-dum. So let's just cut to the chase. Let's not waste my time, your time, sitting here being like, yeah, baby, I love you. I care about you. I want to marry you. What? No, you don't. No, See, you're telling me what you think I want to hear. What you say, that love bomb, and you gaslight me. You think that's what I want to hear. No, you know what? If you were completely honest and say, baby, I just want to be friends with benefit, that might get you further along in this conversation than you lying to me as well as yourself. So therefore, yeah, you may regret the time and the love that was, invested, but ultimately, did it really cost you anything though? Because you were playing yourself, because you already knew what it was. See, because you were cracking at the seam. You saw they cracks, but you was like, oh, well, I can work with him. Well, he don't have a job right now, but I can work with him. Okay, so you met him and he didn't have a job. Now you 6 months in, he still don't have a job. Now you a year in, he still don't have a job. Well, girl, you know he keep applying. Okay, now who is stuck on stupid? You or me? You. Because the sign has been there from the beginning. When you met him, 9 times out of 10, who you met, that first person that you met was who they were. Whoever that resume, that what do we call it? Your representative, that's who they were. That's who they were. Cause all they doing is just changing clothes, but their face is remaining the same.
Well, absolutely, and that's the reason why I wrote Cracks in the Empire. It's not about the character that's there, this businessman. It's not him. I'm using that man to illustrate this story that you just said. We all have cracks. We see the signs, we ignore them. Like you said, the man didn't have a job when you met him. Then he have a job the next. Now you're 6 years in and he still ain't got a job, but you complaining. Well, baby, you knew he didn't have a job. After 6 months, he didn't have one. After a year, baby, he ain't playing the word. What more do you need? You cannot be falling in love, as you would say, with potential. Because you see, if I'm falling in love with potential, then that's a crack. Because I need to understand why I am willing to settle for that.
Yeah.
Why am I settling for that? I'm worth more than that. That lets me know there's something amiss with me. And I need to go back and figure out what it is so that I don't keep making the same mistake over and over again. And then when I finally see where I'm at and can't get out of it, then I'm talking to my best friend or whomever, and they looking at me like, well, I tried to tell you that 2 years ago, but you didn't seem to understand. It was the same man, the same thing. It's just a different face. So again, that's why I wrote Cracks in the Empire. And that's the reason I call it the cracks. And because that's the symptoms, those are the signs. That's the reason I refer to us as an empire, because you see, God didn't make mess. Understand? He didn't make mess. So this vessel that we have, we are empires because he dwells in us and he has all power in his hand. So therefore, we are strong. We are empires. Okay? But sometimes be a crack in our empire, and we have to figure out what that crack is, because we don't want the empire to collapse. So again, that's what the book is all about. It's about awareness and then getting up getting our nerve up to take action, because it's scary. I have to do it every day. I do it every day. I am not immune to this. That's the reason I'm writing about it, because every day there's a crack.
Yeah.
It carries over from the day before. It carried over from last year. It's still cracked. I'm trying to seal these cracks so that my empire doesn't collapse, so that I don't physically collapse. I don't emotionally collapse and go off and tell people what I think, and they shouldn't even be the one getting it. That person just said hello to me in Walmart, and I just went off on them. They like, word, that crazy woman coming here, Bill. Again, because I'm collapsing, because there are cracks. And I did not do what was necessary to seal them. So that's what the book is all about. Because when we don't confront those things and then put a plan in place, we can go down. We can go down. And we can go down with the get down. We can get down with the what is it, Anjay? Because I'm trying to go down with that get down thing.
Go down with the get down.
We can go down with the get down. You know what I mean when I say that, guy. Hello, Denzel, Danny Salmon 06. For joining us on IG, I can get down with the get down, but we don't want to do that because there are consequences when we collapse. See, I ain't talking about a actual brick and mortar building collapsing. When we collapse and lose control, you might lose your job. You may lose somebody's respect that you actually want them to respect you. There's so many things that we lose when we don't lose your health, lose your life. Going back to the diabetes example, your car is out of commission for 6 months because they said it need a new engine. And you're like, where that money gonna come from? But you didn't, you could have prevented it, but you didn't want to go look and see. You didn't want to take the car in, but you got to put a quart of oil in every day. Again, we lose something, and we don't want to lose that. Whatever that is, we don't want to do that. So again, that's the reason why I wrote Cracks in the Empire. It's not about Desmond. We all Desmond, baby. I could have named it Noble. I could have named it Danny, Erica, Paul, La Paget. I could have Morales, Linda. I could have named it anybody's name. Teresa, Angelia, Miss Gloria. It's all of us. We are the empire. And so, in true Dr. Tall's fashion, I just wanted to do it in a different way because I believe that we can get information differently because I'm an auditory visual person. So I love a movie. I want to see things sometimes. And, as a counselor by training, sometimes things are more palatable for me when I see it versus reading it and seeing myself. But when I can visualize it, because I'm reading somebody else's story, like you said, with our girl Vivica, the wrong this, the wrong that. I try to say it's always the wrong this, and look like they can see it's the wrong this, because as soon as it gets going good, I'm like, this is the wrong person. Oh, this is the wrong that. But that movie, that genre of movies is very much, and it was such a good example that you brought in, Anjay, very much what we're talking about. You see the signs, but you choose to ignore it. And we watch Vivica's movies because I know I do. They be so interesting, but I don't be realize I be watching myself. That's why I wrote The Cracks in the Empire, because we all have cracks. And it's like, well, she should have saw that. Well, shouldn't I have seen it too when it was happening to me in my life? Whatever it was, I should have, but I didn't, or I chose to avoid making a decision that was going to be contrary to what I wanted at that moment in time. So my more basic needs superseded my intellect. And what is it I say, Anjay? Stop acting out of your emotions. I need you to act out of your intellect. So see, I started acting out of my emotions instead of my intellect. And I made a decision. And Stevie said, like a fool, I went and stayed too long. So, guys, this is what we've been chatting about tonight. The things that we avoid. If tonight's conversation has challenged you, I encourage you to pre-order your copy of Cracks in the Empire. What You Refuse to Face Can Break You. The book is going to release on July 24th. Before we go, I want you to remember this. Awareness is the first step. Accountability is the turning point. And transformation happens when you stop waiting and start acting. We're not going to wait till January to start this diet. We're going to start tomorrow. We're going to start tomorrow because we can make small changes tomorrow. We ain't got to start next Monday. We can start tomorrow and make little changes all along the way. And pretty soon you will have made huge changes to whatever the situation is, whatever that crack is, whatever's making you almost collapse. You can make changes to that. Because remember, the crack was never the problem. It was the fact that we chose to ignore it. So thank you guys for joining us over on YouTube. And thank you guys for joining us and participating over on IG and Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you, everyone. And remember, let me tell you this. Next week, we're going to be talking about the stories we tell ourselves that make us stay too long. He's a good man. This job ain't that bad. That's my family. I can't make it without them. What am I going to do? I've never paid bills for myself. They got the only car in the family. The stories we tell ourselves is what we're going to be talking about next week. And thank you guys again. And you know the drill. Before you go trying to take care of someone else's crack, let's try to take care of our own crack first. Bye now.
Bye.